I've been meaning to make this video for a while now, and I can make more like this if you guys are interested. We have a new season coming up. Most of you are doing some vault cleaning. I'm always at max, mostly because at the end of the season, I haven't gotten rid of the rolls I've obtained for reviews. So it's never really this bad, but there are some very rare weapons in the history of this game. Some small, some big, some not for you, some are right up your alley. And when I say rare, it's the perks, it's the combinations on the archetype. Like sure, Redrix is rare, Claymore, the original one. If you have this, you're a baller. Or you go to websites and see, hey, Wishbringer, Scholar. Yeah, they're old, rare, maybe Kindled Orchid with Rampage Kill Clip, sure. The list today has some that are not obtainable anymore, but mostly they are. And it's more so about the rarity of what it can do and what it can do solely. So a couple ways to view this video as you're doing your vault cleaning or as you're playing. If you come across these, don't delete them. They're strong in their own right, some for the Crucible, some for PvE. In no particular order, at number 10, tap the trigger on burst sidearms. At some point, the decision was made to no longer put this on sidearms. We've just had one instance, and it's a banger, and that's Liminal Vigil. Why is it so special? Why did they take it off? Well, it's kind of broken. And that's why when they brought it back to a dungeon-specific weapon as a random roll. Tap the trigger after firing for 0.6 seconds. You get plus 40 stability, 50 recoil direction, and 10% accuracy cone size. You're going to see tap on an auto, on a trace. But the deal with a burst sidearm is that we have a burst delay. That means it pretty much has 100% uptime, 100 recoil all the time, max ability all the time. Then the accuracy help. Then you can add on targeting for even more accuracy help. It's broken. So you can get this sidearm from the dungeon, but another one, I had it and I deleted it. And this is well before I realized that they weren't going to put it on sidearms anymore. It's the last dance. You know, I have some old footage of me using it in clips, but you can still get this thing through dares. And wouldn't you know it, this week's the rotation. At the end of dares, or maybe focusing Ingrams at the horse. I ended up getting one. It didn't have tap the trigger though. But when it drops, quick draw tap the trigger, moving target tap the trigger. And also this week, there's some bangers in it, like this crazy max range main ingredient that I got, under pressure tap the trigger. I want to keep that. So dares is still worth doing, and tap the trigger on burst sidearms is something you should keep. At number 9, the Turnabout Trench Barrel Shotgun. This is found on 2 shotguns only. One of them you can't get anymore. And I did a PSA when it came out, and this thing carried me day 1 King's Fall. To this day, it's still a worthy shotgun, and to this day, still very rare. One of them is Compass Rose, which is seasonal when it comes out. And this perk set was only on the original Compass Rose. The combination isn't there anymore, and the idea behind this roll, even in harder content, you go up to a shielded enemy, melee them. Even if they do a stomp, that's fine. With Trench Barrel activated, the shotgun deals 50% more damage, plus 30 reload, plus 30 handling. That lasts for 5 seconds or until you fire 3 total shots. Well, that's a heavy shotgun shot. And that first shot, because it's so heavy, will break the shield easily. Like no matter the content. Then you get an overshield for survivability. You chunk them down. It's a great weapon, a great combination. The other one that has this is the Icolo Shotgun. Compass is going to hit harder, but this hits faster. So maybe if you have this thing crafted, or maybe with harmonizers, you can get it going. It's the same idea. You melee, pop, 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 overshield, and damage. It's an awesome combination that's only found on these 2 things. At number 8, the Golden Tricorn or Headstone Psyhermetic. And I've made 3 total videos on this thing. And I bring this up, let's remember, next season, starting day 2, the Psyhermetic's going to be in the Master Lost sectors. And you want this weapon. And I've seen a lot of people talk about it that don't have the rolls or haven't used it. This thing is awesome. First for PvE, it's the only self-proccing headstone weapon in the entire game. You get a kill with Wildcard, it's going to break that headstone crystal. So it's like a huge, almost stasis dragonfly. It's great. Then for PvP, we have Golden Tricorn. It's the only high impact pulse with Golden Tricorn. It matches kill clip as far as your TTK. No reload needed, just go target to target. It is currently a world drop, but next week you can get it again in those Master Lost sectors. So if you see this thing, it is worthy. It's very, very special. And I hope you guys get one with Headstone or Golden Tricorn. If you do, try it out. I think you'll see it. At number 7, the Hipfire Offhand Strike Fioratura. The dream combo. And this is the only weapon that has it for its design space for it to be in. Offhand strike is nutty. Off the rip, I mean, this thing has a 14-meter base aim down sights. Once offhand strike is up, it goes to 20.5 meters. That's just with offhand activated. It's a wild perk for it. Sure, it's from the hip, but that's why you want hipfire grip. Both of these perks give massive hipfire bonuses from stability to range to accuracy. Like so much accuracy combined with these 2 together. It's awesome. Sidearms inherently extremely accurate from the hip. You can do it from the air, don't even need an Icarus grip, but this pushes it over the edge. This week, my man the gunsmith brought a threat detector offhand strike, and this sidearm continues to show up at the gunsmith. Be looking out for this one. Again, within the design range, the only weapon that has it, the only weapon that's going to be very competitive with this perk combination. And number 6, I've talked about these, the Headseeker 3 bursts. Even going back, there was a 2 burst. You might have that from a long time ago. Maybe one day they'll come back with Headseeker on a 2 burst, but when Headseeker got its buff, a lot of weapons hit the floor running. A lot of pulses did. After hitting a body shot, you get increased precision damage, but it's now adding an aim assist. 2 sidearms have Headseeker, the High Albedo and the fairly new Sununa. If you've used one of these sidearms with Headseeker, I know that you're a believer. They're crazy good. And with Headseeker on fast-firing weapons like these sidearms, the Headseeker damage carries because it lasts for 0.55 seconds. And again, wouldn't you know it, next week Sununa is going to arrive on rotation in that Master Last Sector for day 1. Day 2 is that Psi Hermetic, so I plan to be in there to round out some of these rolls, some of these perfect rolls, because they are special. They're fun to use, and they're deadly. At number 5, one more sidearm, the Desperado sidearm. But it's not just Desperado. Like, Liminal Vigil is an absolute unit, and I wish that I could go in and get more of these. Just got to find people to do the dungeon. But you can go tap the trigger Desperado, tap the trigger Kill Clip. A powerhouse of a sidearm. If this thing was a seasonal weapon, guaranteed a lot of people would be using it, but it's kind of held behind the dungeon. It's the only non-pulse rifle in the game with Desperado. It ups the fire rate, you get to a 0.57 TTK. Kill Clip's probably better, but there's no doubt Desperado's great. So yes, even though at the end of the season, your vault might get a little low, like if you have Liminal Vigils with Desperado and Kill Clip, tap trigger, things like that, I wouldn't get rid of them. At number 4, Dragonfly Incandescent. And of course, I'm talking about Tyranny of Heaven. What an absolute unit. It requires rating, of course, but if you've used this thing, you see the power. We have a lot of solar things coming up in the artifact next season too. The best part, it can get enhanced incandescent, enhanced dragonfly. You grab a headshot final, explosion. The ends of that explosion, the tail ends, are going to apply scorch. And since they're weak from scorch, they can explode if they burn out, or another dragonfly explosion will take them out because they're low enough. Like you collateral after collateral, and it's just flat out explosion the bow. It's a rare thing, a rare one, and it's a good one. You know, they have all these betas coming up for LFGs and, you know, raid finders, whatever. This is a weapon to go for. It's really, really good. And number 3, the Kill Clip Headseeker Pulse. Chattering Bone. Chattering Bone is extremely special on a number of levels. Yeah, it's a lightweight, but the perks really compensate for that. The only other weapon I can remember with Kill Clip Headseeker was Bygones, and I still got that bad boy. But with that adjustment to Headseeker, again, that aim assist combined with the double damage perk combo, more precision damage from Headseeker with aim assist, and then more damage from Kill Clip, it's an easy-going, literally point and shoot to profit pulse. And Chattering Bone, again, it's special all around because of its double damage capabilities, like Kill Clip, being in that third column, Kill Clip Rampage. Just like the old school Kindled Orchid with Kill Clip Rampage, there's Kill Clip Focus Fury. So you might see some Chattering Bones in your vault. Use it, try it out, they're great. And if you have any of these special double damage perk combos, I would keep them. And number 2, the Adagio 120. And fortunately, the Gunsmith has had our backs. Everyone that I've talked to says that they got their Adagio from the Gunsmith. And of course, we're talking about combined action here. Once you get Adagio going, it's a 0.6 TTK, 2 crit. It is awesome, 103. And another thing to consider, even if you're not getting 2 taps, this is a heavy shot of 104. It's actually 103.8, but it's like a fast-firing bow body shot. And I bring this up for a couple of reasons. Number 1, it's going to be day 4 of the rotation for Master Lost Sectors, and you really want to be looking for like no distractions or perfect float with Adagio. But as I've talked about with some of the previous weapons, and there's a lot more weapons, again, I can make more of these videos, we might not see another 120 with Adagio. Like this might be it. And it is a powerful weapon, and it's a fun weapon to use too. Especially if you're sniping and clean up with it, and then you start leading with 2 taps after the Adagio, it's really special. So again, I'd be wary of this being on your cut list if it's there, just because we might not ever see it again. And at number 1, I have an odd one, and I think it's really, really special, and I'll talk about why, but it's a perk that Bungie has just gone away from, and I can see why, but that's the high impact disruption break fusion. I could be wrong on this, I couldn't find it anywhere, but there's a lot of weapons back when Trials went to Adept and they refreshed perk pools, like the snipers coming back Eye of Soul, originally they had snapshot in the 3rd column, which was wild because you can get snapshot, opening shot, things like that. They switched it and made snapshot in the 4th column, so you could do like surplus snapshot or moving target snapshot, which is good. Which, by the way, this would count as a rare weapon. If you have a snapshot, opening shot, Eye of Soul, you're gold. But they're bringing it back, and hopefully they put it back in the 3rd. But with a lot of these trials weapons, when they refreshed perks, perks were lost and perks were kind of reshifted. But there was one, it was around for like 2 weeks because it was out, and then they did a perk refresh. And that's the Disruption Break Exile's Curse. And this one's firmly planted Disruption Break. Both of these perks didn't roll on it when it became Adept. But Disruption Break, think about all the changes that we've had to these high impact fusions. They hit really heavy, and they shoot less bolts. And again, this came out in Season 13, and in Season 13, they introduced Adept mod. So like it was out, and then they just did a complete perk refresh on it. But its damage profile is 66 per bolt. So that means you need to land 2 of the 5, even while getting into fall off to hit them with Disruption Break. And with Disruption Break, 50% more kinetic damage. And while I was making this video, I found this little gem, and there's not another high impact with Disruption Break on it. They hit so heavy that you need to land 2 of 5 to get the perk so you can quick draw into a Rose or maybe a higher impact 120 and easily clean them up. But that also goes into PvE as well. Maybe there's anti-barrier fusion rifle. This thing will smoke it. That goes for anything really. It hits so heavy, it's just gonna absolutely demolish and eat a shield, and they have 50% more kinetic damage. So even if you ran it like double special with Harbalist, like it would be nuts. So again, if you look in your vault and you play Trials way back when in Season 13, you find a Disruption Break Exile's Curse, that's what I mean by rare. And there's more weapons like this. So if you guys want another video, let me know. I'll do it probably at the end of the next season or maybe a little bit after. Just depends on how Destiny goes with its content. But let me know if you're interested. If you're new here, remember to hit the subscribe button. And if you are subscribed, thank you so much for your support. Do you have any of these gems? If you do, talk about it down below. If you have some other things that are really, really rare, tell us about it. Thank you for watching. And until the next one, I am CoolGuy.